Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Sincerely Agile with Mary. Now, on this platform, we're here to learn, unlearn, and relearn, make change agents of ourselves, and above all, we want to be awesome and wholesome together. Now, today we're looking at serving the Agile community, and I have the amazing Florence Olumodimu joining me on this, all important conversation about serving the Agile community. And I'm just going to welcome her to the show. Hello, Florence.
Hello, Mary, and thank you for having me here.
Thank you for making time to be here. Honestly, I'm really excited. I mean, we should have had this
Yeah,
live about what, 4 weeks ago, but you had to travel because of your mom. I hope she's feeling much better now. How is she?
getting better.
That's good. That's good. Good to know. So nice to have you here today. And I have some people joining us already. I have a Facebook user there. And how have you been keeping? You're in the United States, I believe.
Yeah, I'm in Central Time. I'm in Dallas, and it's hot.
It
But
is hot. It is very, very hot. And talking about hot, it just reminds me now of this whole global warming issue. A few days ago, we had a really high temperature here in the UK, about 40 degrees, and
mhm.
we had a few fire incidents. We actually had farmlands burning, and we had some homes that were actually, under fire. People were rendered homeless. So, as coaches, honestly, we need to start thinking about how we can also, honestly, talk more about,
Like
you know,
environmental issues and
environmental issues. We really need to sort of put that thread into what we do on a day-to-day basis. Anyway, it is a pleasure to have you on the show. Now, today we're talking about serving the Agile community. I know you do a whole lot in this space, a whole lot. You are involved with, STEM in Nigeria, you're involved with your own communities. But before we go into that topic, let me just introduce you properly to our audience. I have some people joining us both on Facebook and LinkedIn already. So I'm just going to read your brief bio to our audience. Florence Olumodimu is a digital transformation professional, a project manager, marketing communications consultant, image and personal branding consultant, and digital marketing strategist. She is also an experienced Agile practitioner with over 5 years of experience empowering, coaching, and developing teams and organizations in adopting Agile practices, improving the flow of customer value through scalable, maintainable software solutions. She is the founder of Hack for Ninja, co founder of Agile Disciples USA, and actively involved in the capacity development of young Nigerians in STEM. Now, Florence, that is impressive. You're doing a whole lot in the community space. You're giving back so much. But when you're not working, what else do you do? What do you do for fun?
what I do for fun, I probably say I would watch Netflix or listen to CNN. That's what I would do for fun. I love Zumba. I try to exercise. I try to eat healthy. What
Okay.
else? Um, I am a mom of two big gentlemen.
Good.
My oldest son is 24. My youngest son is 22. Yeah. So,
Wonderful. Wonderful. And what kind of movies do you like on Netflix?
oh, I love rom-coms and I love action. And actually, I also actually like I mean, not reality, but biographies.
Absolutely. Documentaries.
Yeah, documentaries to try and see
Absolutely.
how they got to where they are.
Absolutely. I love documentaries as well. And I love comedy. After
Oh,
I had this work and I just want to chill sometimes, I want something to crack my ribs. I love comedy as well. So lovely. Nice to have you on Sincerely Agile with Mary Florence. Now, our topic today, serving the Agile community. Before we go any deeper, though, I would like to know how you started your Agile journey. How did your Agile journey start? And one of the reasons this is a classic question on the platform is that we often hear about, inspiring stories of how people started. And on this platform, we're trying to encourage more people to join us, in terms of, coming into the agile space. So your story just might inspire somebody. So tell us, how did you join? How did your agile journey start?
Absolutely. I love the fact that you ended with saying like story could encourage someone.
Yeah.
And you can actually be an agile practitioner coming from any industry. Like every experience is relevant. For a very long time, I was a project manager. So I'm a PMP. And I worked on amazing projects across different industries. So I've been in marketing communications, I've worked in experiential, and today I'm happy to say that also a project manager, but and a scrum master, agile coach, but working now with development teams.
Right.
So, but there is nothing that comes from my past experiences. I mean, I worked in marketing communications for like 23 years. I've worked in not for profit. So all that still comes in when it comes to being able to be a people manager, being able to be, work with you have to be able to work with develop. Now I work with developers. I'm working with
Mm-hmm.
a BA. I work with a quality assurance person. And at the same time, you're still working at program level and at initiative level and all that. So there is no skill from those experiences that are not relevant.
Absolutely. And I'm so happy you talked about having worked in marketing for so long,
Oh,
and that you're also talking about transferable skills. Because at the end of the day, I mean, given that Agile started in software development,
mhm.
it has since, moved into different areas, manufacturing, agriculture, name it. The agile ways of working is about, a collaborative way of working. Which industry doesn't need good collaboration?
Collaboration,
Which
and which industry
which
does not
industry
need
doesn't need
response? Yeah, mhm.
exactly? Is there any industry out there today that doesn't want to be responsive or
Exactly.
innovative? These are the skills we need in every single sector today. So all these skills you've had, whether it's in banking, whether it's in agriculture, it is transferable. And these are some of the
Absolutely.
things we will hopefully be highlighting as we go along. So that is an interesting start right there. But in terms of, your journey, training and mentoring, how has that been? Who helped you along your journey? Because one of the things I said when I put out the post for this is that one of the beauty of, being in this space is
Mm.
that you never have to walk alone. There's always something
Yeah.
out there. There's always a community out there. There's always somebody out there that can perhaps show you a thing or two. How was it for you?
Yeah. So I would like to say that, as I had mentioned earlier, that I had actually been a project manager working on several types of projects,
Yeah.
whether it's for big brands like Diageo or for MTN, different projects. But
Hmm.
those were waterfall type projects, and being responsive was not in those days or those times. That's why it's called waterfall. So it was about making sure that all the elements of the plan was ready, approved before you can kick off. And if there was
Absolutely.
going to be any change, you had to go back and sit down
Hmm.
in long meetings to get approvals for the change. But with agility is you have to be able to be responsive and ready to change and adapt
Hmm.
based on what is
Hmm.
required. And I think that I would say the COVID situation, the most the only positive, should I say the only positive thing that came out of the situation with COVID was that a lot of companies that had refused to become agile were forced to become agile.
Yeah.
So there is that requirement and that need now for more agile practitioners. And when it comes to support in the in with as regards my growth or
Hmm.
any other person that decides to venture into this, there's such a great community of practice, so it's the part of agility is collaboration, like you have mentioned.
Hmm.
So there is that consistent effort to always have community of practice where you can, go and help others, but
Hmm.
also, be able to lean on to people that are way
Absolutely.
ahead of you in the journey.
Hmm.
So I do have mentors and I also have mentees.
Absolutely.
That's what makes the journey easier because we are
Easier.
working together.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, when I started my journey, because one of the reasons I'm in this space, I have been a consultant for a while, and then
Mm,
I came into the agile space just about 6, 7 years ago. And for me, I always say coming into the agile space wasn't it wasn't a walk in the park, but it wasn't difficult for me because I was already a consultant. So when it comes to being self-driven, being self-directed, that was something I did very well already. But I could also see how people needed support, which was why I came into this space very quickly. Because, like I said, I was already a trainer, I was already a
yeah.
consultant. But tell me, what was your passion? What was your passion? Can you tell us about your passion for service in the agile community? What made you think, okay, it's not enough that I'm a scrum master or I'm an agile coach and I can earn all these amazing dollars like you do in America, but that you needed to come into this space and empower more people to come into the agile domain? What was the passion all about? Tell us more about
So,
that.
I already, even as a project manager and in
Mhm.
all my other jobs, I already was somebody that believed in volunteering and being able to give back. So that has always been a passion. And then because I was working with young people, the question was always the reason we're not, how do we get experience when people ask you for certain number of years of experience before they can give you the chance to get experience? So
Exactly.
I mean, I've always been the advocate for years, for close to like 10 years now. I always tell every young person that comes into a training or a session I do that you need to be ready to volunteer, because it's in volunteering without the pay that you'll be able to get the experience that eludes you. And
Hmm.
that, and so I already had that passion. So by the time I then decided to pivot to agile and not traditional project management, it was, a no-brainer. My volunteering, even first of all, did not always have to be agile. My
Hmm.
volunteering could be that I, like, for example, there's Women in Agile Dallas.
Hmm.
I volunteer to help them with all their public relations and social media.
Okay.
So I bring my transferable skills and I volunteer in that manner. So when we talk about volunteering and being passionate about something, your passion could be that you're just passionate about helping women,
Yeah.
and then you look for opportunities to help women. You're passionate about young kids, and then
Hmm.
you take your agility to high schools, catch them young.
Exactly.
There's
Catch
so
them
many
young.
ways. So if you have passion, it becomes a no-brainer. But if you don't have passion and you're watching this today, just think, what is it that I'm good at? And look at organizations that are doing the things that you love, the things that you stand for. Because if you don't first do that internal review of what are your values, you won't be able to then align with, what should you volunteer, you
Yeah.
know, to and for what.
That is so important, talking about having that internal, self-reflection, if you like, about what
Absolutely.
you love to do. Because what I often say is this, I mean, here we are in the agile space and we're giving back to the agile community. So I could be a restaurant owner and making sure food doesn't go wasted, and I'm taking excess food to a homeless shelter. So it doesn't I mean, I like the message you just gave there. It's about giving in your space. It's
Yes.
about giving what you are passionate about. It's about giving to what aligns with your value and perhaps also what aligns with your capability, your skills and all of that. So it even makes it easier because you're doing, I mean, I'm not saying we shouldn't go out of our comfort zone, but we can always think about, in this space that I am in. I mean, look at doctors. Some doctors go to Africa to volunteer.
Hmm.
They go to Africa, they go in this big ship with all these
Yeah.
equipments on board, and they go all the way to Africa to help people with, a lot of surgeries. And these are doctors helping within their own field. So it doesn't have to be agile. It doesn't have to be agile.
It doesn't have to be agile at
I
all.
absolutely love that message.
And you have to start from somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why I say so is you don't have to wait till you are earning a particular amount and then you can say, okay, then I now have some free time to give. Your time for volunteering could just be giving 1 hour, 2 hours, or it could be
Yeah.
like, oh, on Saturdays, I'm going to do this and do that.
Mm,
Okay, I don't know anywhere in my environment, but you can actually decide then to start something or look for opportunities even online,
absolutely.
So you have to be ready to create the door if there's no door for you to knock
Mm,
on.
exactly, exactly. Create it. And I mean, this was something Agbola also said when he came on the show. He said, you can't wait to be perfect. You can't wait to be in
Oh
a
no.
certain way before you decide to start helping people to come into this space. You get to a point where you are confident enough, you know enough, and you can already start, coaching and mentoring somebody, or, making your skills and, time available to a community. I mean, one thing I say in my community is this: I'm not looking for followers. I'm looking for to develop leaders.
Mm,
That is what I say. I'm not looking for followers. I'm looking to develop leaders who can then go on to develop more leaders. Because you talked about scaling earlier.
yes, yes.
It's about scaling. We have to scale. You are going to say something.
Yes, absolutely. I love what you've said, and like I said, start from something small and
Hmm.
then develop from there. But so if you, for example, decide, you gave that example of there's a restaurant that has food, and they, rather than throw it out, you're thinking you can take it somewhere.
Yeah,
You took it somewhere, and then it's an opportunity. That's already a conversation starter. Now you have their attention. Then you can decide that, oh, let me teach these people some skills, some agile skills, and then that agile skill you've taught them could then get them a job, and then they can
absolutely.
probably get off, being homeless. There's so
Exactly.
many
There's
ways.
so
You have to
much.
think out of the box, but just sitting
Absolutely.
and thinking you can, then
Mm.
yeah.
And we have to look out for one another.
Okay.
We have to say these things as they are. There's a lot of gaps when it comes to diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Yes, yes.
And if we really want that, to close that gap, then we have our job cut out for us. We can't just think that it is somebody else's problem to fix. It is our problem collectively to pay attention to. So, yes, so we have our work cut out for us. I see a comment here. Divine Oshideko, I love that at Florence, no one will give you a chance per se. Create a door if there is no door to knock on. Absolutely. Absolutely. If there's no door to knock on, create the door. And I love what you also said, Florence, about, the fact that volunteering is necessary, it's very important. And there's a lot we can also do online today.
Mhm.
Now, with online, the opportunities are limitless. Okay. But we have to go online and look for those opportunities. We really have to. And there's always a call for, volunteering with all these
Yeah.
agencies. So let us look out for that. It may not be paid, but the experience you're going to be getting,
Oh yeah,
and that is
priceless.
also a potential reference for you when eventually you get a job. They'll be able to give you a reference to say you worked with them. It doesn't have to be paid. The fact still remains that you worked with them. LinkedIn user, I believe this is Pamela. That must be Pamela. Okay, nice to have you all here. Nice to have you all here. Thank you so much for spending your Sunday afternoon with us. Now, you were at the Scrum Alliance conference this year, weren't you?
Oh yes, I
Were
was.
you were you there as a volunteer?
I was there as a volunteer.
I knew you were. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so it was just exciting being back in the presence of people.
Hmm.
That alone, that
Yeah,
was that. But also going there not just to learn, but also being able to be of service was amazing. So I was a volunteer. Everybody that went was, because I was on. I helped with registrations, so
okay.
it meant that I really did meet.
Practically everybody met you.
Yes. So that was fun. It was also nice to be able to, when we talk about diversity, you could pinpoint, oh, that person, I can relate to that person because,
Yeah,
but you could literally count how many people of color that were there, which is, that's the sad thing, but also means that there are lots of opportunities for you to come into the profession,
hmm,
and because there's not enough representation.
There's not enough representation. Absolutely. I mean, I just couldn't attend any conference this year anyway. That was not on my list, but I totally understand where you're coming from. And even in the podcast space,
Mm,
I really would like to see. I'm happy at what I'm seeing now. I really would like to see more people step up in the podcast space
mm.
to, also give of their time, also take that leadership role, and disseminate knowledge, invite amazing people to come and talk about different things. Very, very important. And of course, these conferences is an opportunity for
Networking,
people to network. It is a
absolutely.
huge opportunity for people to network. I mean, I was looking at the pictures, being posted for Agile 2022. I was like, I wish I was there, but hopefully,
I wish to.
honestly, I will be there next year by God's grace. I will be there next year.
And just to help Scrum Alliance to do, so there's one more global Scrum gathering this year still. If you missed Denver, you missed Nashville.
Nashville.
There's one coming up in Portugal, Lisbon, Portugal in October.
Yeah, absolutely. So great insights, Florence Olubunmi. Yeah, thank you very much there. Learning so much from you sharing your experience, Florence. Yeah, thank you very much. Um, hmm. Okay, we were just talking about the diversity, equity, and inclusion aspect. And then we're saying, are the communities doing enough to make the space much more diverse? And when I say communities, established communities like Scrum Alliance, like, scrum.org, IC Agile, all the major, major, major communities out there. My first question is, are they doing enough to make this space much more diverse? What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, so my thoughts on that would make me think of when JFK said, is it ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. So the regulatory bodies, the communities can do only what they can. Now we have look at there's a coaching certification called CTC.
Mm-hmm.
Initially, there were just two black people. Then
Yeah,
became seven. The
became
seven
seven.
black
Yeah,
panelists. I think now there are eight.
yeah,
Well, what's her name? Just joined. One more person from England. Just in
good.
the world,
In the world, of course. Yeah,
there are only
yeah,
eight black
yeah,
CTCs,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So how do you create that opportunity for yourself? Because the regulatory body is not going to come to your house
Mm-hmm.
for you to do all the certifications required to get to a
No,
CTC. Yeah.
no.
So I love the fact that the CTCs
Mm-hmm.
that are CTC that are black, they have reached out and they're trying to get more agile coaches to be first of all, it's awareness. Because
Awareness.
you don't
Yeah.
even know that there is that
Mm-hmm.
the opportunities. Why, if you get it, what would it do for you? Okay, your
Yeah.
career, the community, and all. So I'm happy that within ourselves
Mm-hmm.
we're talking more about this inclusion and getting more people to join us. And also, like, I'm on my TTC journey. I'm on the journey with like 10 other you
Fantastic.
know,
I'm
you know,
starting mine too.
yeah, so it's amazing. So it's about sharing. Let's not ask what they are doing. I'm talking of the
Mm-hmm.
regulatory bodies. We as individuals, once we have the information, we need to get the information out there. We
Mm-hmm.
need to get people aware and
Mm-hmm.
then let them know that you don't just get a PSM or a CSM or a PMP and
And
sit
think you're there.
and think you're there. No. What is agility is about, growing the collaboration. So be transparent, tell people, more people about it, because the ground is so fertile. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that if, okay, maybe 1,000 of us become CTCs, that it's not gonna affect anything.
The more the merrier.
The more the merrier. So let's get the word out there. And like, what you're doing is amazing.
Thank you.
I belong to an organization that I'm a co-founder, Agile Disciples,
Mm-hmm.
and that is also about helping to bridge the gap
Yeah.
of opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
So every month we're doing activities to help, people of color and others. Everybody in the Agile community can actually attend the meetings, but we're
Attend. Yeah.
basically helping with what are the challenges that they face as Agile practitioners. How
Mm-hmm.
can you come into this particular field and all
Mm-hmm.
that? So those are the sorts of things that you have to be ready to do.
Absolutely. Thanks Thanks for that. For that you do for the Agile community. I appreciate you keeping the discussion sincere, Mary Lania. Thank you very much. Okay, yes, we've got to be sincere, and I like to balance my questions. I just asked you this question here, saying what are the communities doing enough, but more importantly, what can we,
The
the
minorities.
minorities, do to bring more diversity to the Agile space? Because I mean, it's got to be balanced, right? We could be saying what are they doing for us, but hey, what are we doing
What
for
are we doing?
ourselves?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would love to see the cup as half full, meaning that the representation is solo, but it means that there's a lot of
It's room.
opportunity. A lot of opportunity, guys. Like my team, I'm the only black person.
Okay.
And we just celebrate every time somebody new is like introduced to the organization, and then the organizations have the different special interest groups, like
Okay.
so we in like my organization sort of helps to try and just to push that diversity.
Right.
So how can then, as an individual, when I see what the organization is doing, what can I do as an individual to sort of replicate that, to mirror that? It
Mm-hmm.
means that I need to be able to encourage people that I know that are looking maybe to change careers,
Mm-hmm.
people that are young people that are trying to decide where they should go. Let them know that there's a lot of opportunity here.
Yes, yes, yeah.
And you don't have to be somebody that some people are scared of tech
Mm-hmm.
because they're thinking, I have to be able to program, I have to be able to code. There's so many, opportunities that you don't need to be a coder. So you could, be a project manager, a technical project manager. You could be a product manager. You could come in as a BA, as a business analyst, bringing in all the requirements and all for the things you want to work on. You can come in as a UI UX specialist,
Mm-hmm.
product designer.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many opportunities that you
Yeah.
don't need, and there are a lot of people even listening today that have those skills, and they just probably need one or two other things to be able to
Yeah.
be in it.
I mean, learning is a lifelong
Mm.
activity, isn't it? And
Mhm.
talking about what can we do to bring more diversity to the agile space, that is what we're doing right here,
Yeah.
right now. That's one of the things we can do. Come on a platform like this with people like yourselves who are also doing amazing things in their spaces to talk about things like this. Give people as much information as possible, encourage people, let them know that it's not a technical space 100%. You don't
Yes.
have to be a coder, you don't have to be a programmer to come into this agile space or even technology space. A few weeks ago, we had an amazing product manager,
Amazing.
Funto. She
Mm.
was on the show. If you are someone who knows how to tell a story, you will work well in the product space because you'll be able to engage with users of your organization's product. Okay. If you are somebody who understands numbers, you can perhaps come into the organization to help them crunch their measures, things like that. If you're someone who likes to research, again, you'll be very useful in a product environment. So there's
Mhm.
just so much that you can come and do in this space. And as an agilist, you don't need to be technical. Some organizations may be looking for a technical scrum master. That's a given. But
Yeah.
for the most part, they are looking for your people skills, great communication, someone who can lead, someone who can help create a safe environment in which people can collaborate efficiently and effectively. Like Florence said, all the skills you have acquired over the years in different sectors, they come in very, very handy. So please don't shy away. I
Yeah.
mean, there's just like you just said, there's just too much that can be done in that space, and there are a lot of vacancies out there with nobody to fill them, believe it or not.
And the companies are actually looking for people with the skills and to fill up as per diversity.
Exactly,
So if you do have
exactly.
the skills, they definitely will consider you.
And
Uh,
that is an opportunity people need to leverage. Now, organizations cannot pay lip service to diversity, equity, and inclusion anymore. Organizations are literally under the microscope right now,
yeah.
right? For the issues of diversity, equity, and inclusion. They are literally under the microscope. So what are you doing to fill up those spaces?
Yeah.
As someone in the minority group, what are you doing to fill up those spaces? We can't just say, oh, there's not enough minority, there's not enough diversity. What are we doing? And the other thing I want to touch on, still on the subject of what are we doing,
Yeah.
we need to put our money where our mouth is.
Yeah.
Okay? We need to put our money where our mouth is. I often talk about free resources on this podcast. There are free resources on YouTube. There are resources on LinkedIn if you are already a paying member. A lot of high quality resources on LinkedIn if you're a paying member. And LinkedIn is what? About £20 a month, I think. That's what that is, about
Mhm.
£20 a month, which is about perhaps $27 a month. And on Google anything you want. It will throw something back at you. Okay. So we need to invest our time, and we need to plan our finances in terms of investing in ourselves.
Mm.
Because we talk about CTC, we talk about IC Agile, we talk about all these
It takes
certifications.
money.
It doesn't come cheap. It, do- it does cost money. But if you really want to go far, then
Yeah.
you will have to invest in yourself. I just felt it's important for
It's
me to
important
throw
to
that
say
out there.
that. And
Yeah.
I wanted to say that I loved that you said you have to put your money where your mouth is. So there are those free resources to even
Yeah.
start out.
To
But you
start.
don't get your gig, you get your first job, your second opportunity, save some money, and then decide to commit something to your personal improvement.
Mhm.
I tell my young mentees that you have to have a personal development improvement plan.
Fund.
Yeah, not the fund, but you have
Yeah.
to start with a plan. So
Yes.
at the beginning of the year, my mentees, I always tell them, what do you want to achieve this year?
Mhm.
So you plan it out. If you were
Mhm.
working in a company, you have to have a plan. So why not have a plan
Absolutely.
for yourself, your personal development plan, your
Mhm.
PDP? And then
Absolutely.
we talked about you don't have to really be technical to be
Mhm.
in the development space. But then I want to just put a little caveat
Mhm.
that so I work with developers in the development space. I don't need to know about cloud, but
Mhm.
because the people I work with, the developers, have to put we have to store things. They're not storing things on their computers. They're storing it in the cloud. So I decided to go and learn about Amazon Web Services.
AWS.
Yes, and became a cloud practitioner. Not because I'm going to be doing the plan or the resource the
Mhm.
resource putting the resources into the plan. No, but I want to be able to
To speak their
understand,
language,
speak the language.
understand and speak their
So
language.
when the solutions architect is talking about
Yeah.
which the resources and this and that, he's talking lambda, I understand what he's talking about.
Absolutely.
So I want to be able to also support my team with coaching, and I
Mhm.
don't want to just I don't want to just go through it and try and error. No, I want to actually learn the right way. And then I decided
Absolutely.
I was going to learn about so I did IC Agile,
Mhm.
also on my ORSC journey. So
Mhm.
it's those things.
Yeah.
You can't pay lip service to it.
You can't.
You
You
need to
can't.
have the plan and then work towards it.
We really must have a plan. And for example, I mean, I'm on my IC Agile expert. I have one more call, and then I have to then work on my, case study and all of that. We need to have a plan. I started that journey last year. I also started my ICF. We need to have a plan because
Absolutely.
we can't pay lip service to continuous improvement. We have to,
Mhm.
take that, eat our own dog food and show that, yes, indeed, learning is a lifelong activity. Continuous improvement is one of the pillars of agility. So we just have to continue improving ourselves. I see more comments here. Um, I'll need to start my agile journey.
Yes, please.
Absolutely, it is the future. It is definitely the future. And the reason we were talking about the fact that you don't necessarily have to be technical is we want to just try as much as possible to encourage people into this
People
space.
get
Because
on
when
board.
people hear agile and technical and technology, they just shy away. They think, oh, this is not for me. Whereas there's just so much for everybody to do in that space. And I like the fact that you also threw in the fact that, there's nothing wrong in then starting to look at some things like the Amazon Web Services. I mean, when you join an organization, you have a team, there are some things you need to start looking at just so that you can learn their language. Okay, you can speak their language, and you can begin to make sense of, much more sense of their conversation, if I can put it that
And
way.
you'll be able to
But
add better value.
add value.
You don't understand
Add
what they're
value.
talking about.
Absolutely add value. So it is important, if you have the capacity for learning, you just keep learning. Salute, Florence. Your leadership and sharing insights. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, you're going to start it. So start thinking of what is the first baby step that you need to take.
Yes.
That is I will your Frank. Now, what is the first thing you need to do, Frank? We've talked about free resources, okay? Go to YouTube, go to Google. What is Agile? On LinkedIn, there are so many Agilists on LinkedIn sharing great content. Start from there. Go to YouTube and type in what is Agile. You'll be amazed what it will throw up at you, and you can start learning from there. And then, of course, like we said, you have to put your money where your mouth is. You need to then start to plan to take those basic certifications, like your Scrum Master certification and your training, Agile team facilitation. These are the things that you need. And then, more importantly, join a community.
Yeah.
Join a community. Go to meetup.com. Go to events. What's the other one?
Eventbrite.
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 Go to Eventbrite and do a search for Scrum. Do a search for Agile. You'll be spoiled for choice. Join one or two communities and attend their activities. I did all of that in the early days of my journey, and I still do. I
Mhm.
still do. So yeah, so it's great to have you here, and I hope you definitely start that journey. So like I said,
Yes.
go and leverage the free resources out there and walk the talk. Absolutely. Combining it with recently acquired clinical informatics skills and possibility is endless. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. My next question for you. Well, talking about newbies, someone is just starting their journey or hoping to start their journey. So, what will be your advice for people who are thinking of starting in this space?
So to start in the space,
Mm,
the first thing is to think about what is your passion.
mm-hmm,
So why I say so is, for example, you find out that your passion is in creativity. You could
mm,
then decide that you want to. I mean, it's not everybody that has to become an agile coach. It's not everybody that has
mm-hmm,
to be a scrum master. Not everybody has to be a project
yeah.
manager. You could then end up becoming a product designer, and then you learn Figma. You learn
Mm-hmm,
all those things, and then, or you could become a UX UI designer.
yep.
You'll find out that you love conceptualization. You can actually think of something from start to finish. Maybe you should be a product manager.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
You are somebody that is very good at organizing things, people relationships, removing, if there's you are able to foresee what could be potential scenarios of problems, and you're thinking of how do you remove this, how do you remove that. Maybe you should be a project manager, a scrum master. So there are so many avenues, but the first thing I always say is, what are you good at? What do you have, so that you don't just go into it because everybody else is going into it.
Oh, yeah.
No, that would be a big, mistake. Then I tell people that every company is becoming a technology company.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So don't see your bank as a bank, because your bank is a technology company. Any bank
Absolutely.
today that is not updating itself with regards to its presence online, its digital footprint,
Mm-hmm.
is one getting ready to be outdated.
To become a dinosaur.
Your grocery store, if the grocery store does not know how to put themselves online, so that people that decide that they just want to sit at home and watch TV and order their groceries, and you just decide that you'll continue to be a brick and mortar grocery store only,
Yeah.
you're going to die, because Amazon is putting more and more things in place. Then they're still also putting one or two outlets to be able to compete with the brick and mortar people, but they
Absolutely.
know that the future is to deliver things to people, convenience. So
Convenience.
that convenience then makes everybody that is used to be known as those other categorizations
Mm-hmm.
actual technology companies. Then the technology companies are also going into this. So a company that is purely technology in the
Mm-hmm.
olden days sense of thinking of it, they are now thinking, how do we have our own banking services? How do we
Mm-hmm.
have our own pharmaceutical service? It was in the news
Yeah.
this week.
Yeah.
Jeff Bezos has just said they're putting more money into becoming more stupendous with regards to pharmaceutical services.
Oh my God, that guy is everywhere.
Yeah. They got into books, and
Hmm.
today, if you're thinking of buying a book, where is the first place you go to?
Amazon.
So
Absolutely.
I don't remember the last time I walked into a bookstore,
Same here.
even for physical books. I'm not talking about just Kindle
Yeah.
books,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So
Physical books.
know that the technology companies are coming into your own area. So,
Absolutely.
and what does that mean for the newbies?
More
More
work, more
opportunities, more
opportunities,
work, more things to do. So,
more things to do. So well said. Every organization is a software organization, is a
yeah,
technology organization. I mean, if you look at the hotel sector, they saw themselves as being in the accommodation sector. That is
restaurants,
why
hotels,
Airbnb
flights,
took over. That is why Airbnb took over.
yeah,
Airbnb, they don't run any physical premises,
they don't
but
own any.
they don't own any, not for their businesses at least.
Hmm.
So there you go. Uber, they don't run physical taxis. Okay. What they have done is use technology to leverage people and their cars. That is
Yes.
what they have done. So it's such an amazing concept, and it is all driven by technology. And that just simply means more work in this whole space. But are you getting ready?
Mm.
Because for me, I always say success is when opportunity and
Opportunity,
readiness,
exactly. Readiness.
readiness jam, you know, when they
Absolutely.
jam, that is what success is all about. Okay. Be ready, be prepared, keep educating yourself, keep attending meetups, join networks. Okay. So that when those opportunities come, you are there to take them. Now, Chidi Mike, I haven't seen you for a while. Good to have you here. Chidima says, I have two agile certifications, but my organization is still mostly waterfall. What do you advise? What do you say, Florence?
What I would say is, what think about what you have control over. What you have control over is what happens to you. So if your organization, first of all, you try to be the advocate for agility in your organization, and you try your best. But your organization is bigger than you. But don't go without saying without trying to change things, right?
Exactly.
But it also means that it probably is time.
Mm-hmm.
Start looking for organizations that are truly agile.
Yeah. For me, what I would say to that,
It
I
doesn't
mean,
stifle you.
yeah, you've said it so well. Start from where you have influence. What is in your control? Okay. This is what we call the circles and soup technique, right? Where you have those three circles and then you are looking at what is in the middle. What is in your control to influence? So, in as much as it is a waterfall space, right? What can you do with retrospective? I mean, we have lessons learned, right? Even in a
Mhm.
waterfall environment. With your lessons learned, how can you bring a bit more, psychological safety, for example, into that conversation where people are honestly giving account of what has gone well and what can be better? For me, if I find myself in that kind of situation, this is where I'll use as an opportunity to start talking about the things that are not working well and how perhaps some ways of agile working can help us overcome those obstacles. So do what is in your control. So I would imagine, Chidima, that in your waterfall environment, you do lessons learned. You have an opportunity for lessons learned. That is a huge time to start bringing your agile skills to help run, to help facilitate that, conversation in terms of what can be better done
Yeah.
in the next project. Good question there. Let's see what else we've got. Well done, well done, well done to Florence. Well said. What's your passion? Absolutely. You need to know what your passion is, because when you're passionate about something, it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
That is how I feel about what I do. That is how Florence feels about what she does also. That is why we are also saying, think of what you are passionate about, because it becomes easy to start. It becomes easy to start. Great, Florence. Some people don't like change, but you need to embrace change if the alternative is a disaster.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Today, I mean, what's going to happen to people who don't embrace change, Florence?
They're going to die. It's adapt or die.
It is that simple.
Yeah.
Adapt or die. I mean, look at what happened during COVID.
Oh my God.
And,
Hmm.
and, and you know what? Leadership, okay, for a very long time, leadership failed to really be responsive to their employees. Okay? Because if you really look at the technological landscape, we've always had the infrastructure for remote working. We've always had it. I've been remote working for the last. I started remote working as far back as my time at British Petroleum, which was year 2000 to 2005. I did remote working during that period. The infrastructure was that good then. Okay, I occasionally worked from home in the very early 2000s. So the infrastructure was there, the technological infrastructure was there, but the mindset
Mm.
wasn't. Okay, organizations, leadership still believe they needed to see you physically in the office. But look at what COVID did.
Yeah.
Look at what COVID did. So we really must embrace change. Otherwise, something else like COVID will come along that will force us. Now, which one is better, Florence? To be forced to change or to have been proactive?
It's better to be proactive. Better to be proactive.
Absolutely. It is better to be proactive. So let us sense the environment. And that is why we're having this conversation. Let us sense the environment. What is what is changing? What is the trend?
Yeah.
Okay.
And many more changes are still coming. Many
They're
more
on their
changes.
way. They're on their way. I mean, Florence, I always say this. If you exhaust your data and you don't use your data for anything constructive and productive like learning,
Hmm.
for me, it is like you have paid for your tuition and you have not attended classes. That is what I say. You
Yeah.
have paid tuition and you've not attended classes. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of entertainment on social media and on the internet, a lot of entertainment, but you have to be careful to allocate your time for learning and for entertainment. I use the internet for entertainment. I watch comedy online, but I do a whole lot more learning
Yeah.
than I do entertainment. Now, how you want to split your time obviously is up to you, but what we're trying to say is that the resources are there.
Yeah.
They are there, both free and paid. They are there. So, what do you say about the use of the internet?
Hmm. Use it judiciously, use it wisely.
Yes.
Like you said, time management is so, 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 so important. You could decide that over a whole weekend, you can, just like you binge on Netflix, you can decide that one weekend you left your office and you didn't know about a particular kind of skill, and that whole weekend you are on Udemy and you're learning. By the time on Monday you have an additional thing to add to your, to your portfolio.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for being here. And I like what you just said. I mean, sometimes you don't know something, and that is the way to go now. Gone are the days when we go for 1 week training, you know, and 1 week physical training. Now
Hmm.
you can do what we call bite-sized training. And what I see coming, happening in the future is that a lot of organizations are going to start reducing their training budget. That is my thinking. They're going to start reducing their training budget. And the reason I foresee that coming is because they are going to invest more in coaching. They would expect people to self-direct in terms of bite-sized learning, because look at all the information on LinkedIn, look at all the information online in terms of bite-sized learning. Like you just said, Florence, maybe for example, I know nothing about, let me see, effective communication. Okay, I can just go online and read a lot of stuff, go on YouTube, look at some videos on effective communication, and I would know what to do the next time I'm with my team if that was a need for me. So bite size on a need to know basis.
Yeah. Then
Okay.
some companies are actually signing up to platforms such as Udemy and
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
sorts of platforms. They
Yeah.
sign up for the enterprise one so that
Absolutely.
their team members have access to go and learn those things.
Yeah, a lot of organizations, for example, I mean, I've been a member of a couple of organizations that signed up to LinkedIn. So,
Mm.
as a member of that organization, you had access to
To
all
learn.
the learning on LinkedIn. So, as you can see, organizations are now pushing your learning agenda. They're pushing it back to you,
Yeah.
but they are creating that space and saying, you go and learn what you need to learn on a need to know basis. So, you want to learn about DevOps, you want to learn about, design thinking. It is perhaps just a 4 hours training on LinkedIn, perhaps
Mhm.
just 4 hours, or Udemy or whatever. So we really need to take, the bull by the horn and take charge of our own personal development. The information is there. We're not lacking information in any shape or form at all. Um, Good job, Mary. You and your guests really complement each other in terms of today's topic. Quite educative and stimulating, great influence on the younger ones who are open to various opportunities. Absolutely. That is why we do what we do, because we
Mm.
feel we have been blessed and we should give of what God has blessed us with. Change is the only constant thing in life. Absolutely. As life learners, we should continuously, proactively embrace change. Florence Olubunmi and Marilanion, thank you very much. Right now, back to my banners of questions.
I wanted,
Uh,
can I just add one thing?
yes,
So we
please.
have learning organizations. Remember, we talked
Yes,
about organizations that promote learning
yeah,
and innovation.
yeah.
So I know of companies that specify that a particular day is a learning day. But if you happen to be in a company that is not so, you
Hmm.
can decide that maybe with your team agreement, that you would have maybe an hour, just like you can decide to have a social hour. You can decide to have a
Lunch and learn.
lunch and learn with your team.
Yeah,
And then I encourage you to also join community of practice at your organization so
yeah.
that you go there too and contribute and also learn.
Absolutely, contribute and also learn. Now, talking about serving the community, you are doing so much, Florence, and we can only say thank you. Now, tell us more about the Hack for Nigeria and Agile Disciples USA.
Okay. So my love for volunteering and giving back to the community. Hack for Niger was set up to be able to help young Nigerians that,
Hmm.
and then it involves not just doing a hackathon. It's a hackathon to solve problems and real life problems in Nigeria. But
Hmm.
in addition to that, before the actual hackathon, we give them software development skills, different skills training, and bring in the last one we did. We brought in three different people from like Microsoft, from different organizations that
Yeah,
are they would
yeah.
never have dreamt of ever sitting in a room with.
With
So it was
absolutely.
an amazing thing, Flutter Wave, and also at the end of the training session,
Hmm.
they are able to go back with at least some coding skills and different
Yeah,
skills. But
yeah,
you don't have to be a programmer to be part of Hack for Niger. So we had designers on board. We had different skills, but they are able to then participate in a hackathon. And
right.
it's something that I am so excited about, and I'm preparing for the next one. Agile
Okay.
Disciples. For that, I'm not the founder. I'm a co-founder, and
Hmm.
we are actually 10 coaches that founded Agile Disciples. We are all based in the US, and that's why it's USA.
Absolutely,
But we
absolutely.
open the opportunity to everyone
Got
because
it.
we do our activities online, and so we set it up in order to bridge the
Hmm.
opportunity
Hmm.
gap, especially for people of
Hmm.
diverse
Background
backgrounds. Yes, so we do at least one event every single month.
every month.
Yeah, where we invite people, whether you're on your agile journey already or you're just contemplating it, and you come and you learn. We had one just
Absolutely.
yesterday, and next event is on August 27th, 2022. So if you're here and you want to learn more about coaching or different challenges, how to overcome challenges in
Challenges.
your job, an agile job, no matter your role, whether you're a developer, you're a product manager, you're a scrum master, a coach, come to one of our events and you'd love it.
Absolutely. Well done. Well done. Thank you so much. So, as you can see, Florence is doing a whole lot, a whole lot. And we appreciate you for that, because honestly, we can't talk about this enough.
Yeah,
We can't talk about it enough. That is why it's a recurring conversation on this platform. How can we bring more people into
more
this space?
people. Yeah,
And please, it doesn't matter what age you are. It doesn't matter what age you are, as long as you have the capacity for learning, you can always start this journey. And
yeah,
like we said before, everything you've ever known, every experience you've ever had, trust me, you will be able to repurpose them and transfer them to this space. We cannot talk about this enough. But you then have to, walk the walk. Okay? Walk the walk, and knowing fully well that the communities are out there. So many, people giving of their time. If I
yeah,
start to mention names now, we're going to be here for the next hour. Agilis, Black people, people like you and I, giving of their time to bring more people into this space. And honestly, Florence, you and I, we were talking about this before we came online, how we are so excited and grateful for people who have stepped forward
Yeah.
to take that leadership role to bring more people into this space. Because one of the things our communities have suffered from historically is that lack of collaboration to a great extent. I'm not saying we don't collaborate at all, but we can do more
More, we
in
can do
that
better. Yeah.
space. We can do better than we're even doing now. That lack of information sharing. Luckily, we have technology now that we can leverage, but we can do so much more. Someone coming into the agile space doesn't diminish me. If anything, it makes me so
Oh,
fulfilled.
absolutely.
It makes me so happy to see someone else coming as a scrum master. And by the grace of God, we're doing that. In my community, at least about 25 people are now, about 20 people have gotten a role as a scrum master. That counts for something.
Mm.
And they are also encouraging people, like I said, it's not about us looking for followers, it's about us building leaders. Okay, it's not about, I know following is a social media thing these days, but I'll rather have people who are with me as partners and who are being developed as leaders, because that is the only way we can scale. I can't say this enough. It is about scaling. I cannot do it alone. Florence cannot do it alone. The number of coaches we have today is growing, but we need more.
More.
We need more. So we need to, we are happy to have that 30 minutes conversation with you. Link up with Florence. She'll be
Yes.
happy to spend 30 minutes of her time. People reach out to me. I book a 30-minute Zoom call with them to see where they're at and see how they can start their journey. But one thing I always say, you have a lot to do on your own. Last words from you, Florence.
The journey of 1,000 miles starts with that very first step. So I hope that after all that has been said, that if you have not yet started that journey, that you start it. And if you have already started, let's see ourselves at the finish line together.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. It's about you know, um, creating more leaders. It's about looking out for each other. It's about making more people to be fulfilled also in what they do. So please
I don't know
connect
whether
with.
I'm able to plug an upcoming event too.
Can you send it to me in private chat?
Okay.
Do you
Right.
already have it? If you send it to me private chat, then I can show that.
Right.
So while she's doing that, this is going to be the last show for this quarter, because talking about developing ourselves, I'm also going through some development and I need to take some time out to really pay attention to my project. So this is going to be the last show until October. So we will be back in October by God's grace, and the show will continue. But in the meantime, take very good care of yourselves. Start your journey. If you're really keen, reach out to me, reach out to Florence, and we will be happy to spend that 30 minute slot with you to have a conversation on how you can start that journey. Okay, so I can see you sent me something. Let's
No,
see,
I've
have you
actually
sent
not
me
sent it.
something?
No,
Oh, okay, it
I've
was a
not sent it.
comment.
Yeah,
Okay.
is it possible for me to, if okay, if I put it, can I send to you through LinkedIn?
Do you know what? We'll put it on this show, and people will see it. So
Okay,
what I
okay.
will do is, even when we finish, I can still tag stuff on there.
All right.
This was awesome, great facilitation. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Chidima. Thank you for being here. So we're going to call it an evening here. And Florence, don't you worry. Send it to me still, and I'll make sure I put it in the comments for this podcast. Okay, and people who are here today will see it. Even people who are not here today will see it. Okay, so thank you very much, everybody. And Florence, thank you so much for investing time on Sincerely Agile with Mary. I really
It was
appreciate your time here
amazing to be
today.
spent Sunday afternoon with you.
Thank you so much. It's been such a quality time with you. And thank you for all you do. I know you give a lot. You give a whole lot. Thank you so much for all you do. And bye bye, everybody. See you in October. Bye.